Night Raw and SmackDown? I certainly did not. Let's dive into it, shall we? Well, the pre-show match was the SmackDown Tag Team Championships. The champions New Day took on Rusev Day. The start of the match, there was some back and forth between New Day and Aiden English, which was very funny. A kind of a sing-off battle. The match itself was probably the best pre-show match I think I've seen in recent memory. Although I feel like I've said that quite recently. But either way, it was a much better pre-show match than we usually get to deal with. I think Aiden English maybe stole the show a bit. I think he had put in a great performance. Rusev and Aiden didn't fall apart. Rusev, they didn't crumble the way that I suspected that they might, which I'm fine with because I think these two are a good team. And if they fall out and feud, there's not really anywhere for them to go. But I think these two had a great match. The little bit of miscommunication that they did have, you could argue, was Rusev's fault because Aiden English tagged himself in. He was just flying with the match because those two had got on throughout the match really well to this point. I think Aiden English just tagged himself in. He felt it was right, and Rusev questioned him rather than continuing with the match. So you could argue that the miscommunication was Rusev's fault. Rusev did his diving headbutt, but he missed. Aiden English did his move and he landed it. But nevertheless, it was all in vain. The New Day retained the titles in what was a really good pre-show match. And we start Hell in a Cell with one hell of a Hell in a Cell match. Fuck. This was the most Hell in a Cell match I can remember of recent time. It looked like absolute, well, as much carnage as we can get in this day and age, I suppose. It looked good. It looked beast. It looked unpleasant a match to be in, to be honest with you. Randy Orton looked, well, he was beat to absolute shit. I mean, the marks on his back and that, obviously this is a few days after the pay-per-view now. He's posted a picture on Twitter, I believe it's Twitter, of like the chunk, I say chunk, I'm not trying to say it, it's probably about the size of maybe your thumb or your pinky, of flesh that's missing from his leg. When Jeff Hardy swanton bombed him, Orton was laying in a chair on top of him, and I think as Jeff swanton bombed him, I think as the chair broke, one of the legs broke, I think just took out a bit of Orton's leg, but there was blood trickling from his leg. His back was all whipped, his back was bleeding, his back was whipped to shit. Jeff Hardy took a hell of a beat as well. I assume if you're watching it, you've probably seen it by now, but Jeff Hardy did a spot where, because the structure of the cell was different. Also, I like to add that I don't like the red cell at all, and I think it makes it too gimmicky for me. I prefer it looking like silver, metal, whatever. I don't like the red, but that's just a side note. I can deal. It's not a big issue, just a little tweak for me. Jeff was swinging from the structural support inside the cell, like back and forth. I don't know what he was trying. I assume he was just trying to do a normal splash. But as he came down, Orton moved out of the way. Therefore, he crashes through the table. The ref is demanding that he gets help, and the cell goes up because Jeff is fucked. And Orton's insisting that the ref does his fucking job. He didn't swear, but he's insisting he does his fucking job. Counts to 1, 2, 3. So trying to tell Orton's being a dick. This is kind of how I suspected they'd do, with Jeff still getting to do his bump and Orton not connecting to Orton. Really enjoyed it. Really enjoyed it. Best Hell in a Cell, match just for the pure carnage sake of it. We've seen for a long while within the realms of it being the PG era, but no complaints so far. Next, Becky Lynch and Charlotte. What can I fucking say about these two pair of delights? What a fucking match these two had. I will go on record and say that this was a better match than the match that Charlotte had at WrestleMania. Because since WrestleMania, there's not been a women's match that's even compared, but this one blew it out of the water for me. I've got a lot of notes about this. I'm going to talk about this one a fair bit. There's a few other matches in the show that I can just fly through pretty quickly. But these two, was it my match of the night? It was either this or the AJ match. don't know which I'm going for. I'm not going to make a decision because it's my fucking channel. Anyway, these two were fucking brilliant. What I got from this match, I mean, I'm not a professional wrestler, I just watch it. I don't know the psychology, it's just what I got from it. Throughout the whole match, the whole match was that Becky was out wrestling Charlotte. In the early beginnings, it was pure wrestling, trying to outmaneuver each other. It was clear that Charlotte's game plan was to work Becky's leg. It was clear Becky's game plan was to work Charlotte's leg. And as the match progressed, you could see that Becky was able to execute a game plan because she continued to work on Charlotte's arm. Charlotte sold it beast. And you could tell that Charlotte's game plan, it's not that it wasn't working, but Charlotte wasn't in control for long enough to execute her game plan of working on Becky's leg. So Charlotte had to resort to just when Charlotte got a minute to breathe, she had to resort to chops and big boots and stuff just to get a breathing, just to get some space. She hit it with a moonsault. I think just kind of clutching at straws, just doing something to get some offense in. But I cannot praise this match enough. Really, really fucking. This is the women's match we've needed. I hope these two. I'll continue the match. Becky throughout the whole match. I think there was maybe one little incident in one of the corners where Becky might have not released from the right break clean. I think, but I could be wrong. Or she just held it in there. Or I don't know exactly what it was, but I don't think Becky didn't do anything really heelish in this match at all. Nothing was really heelish. And even when she wasn't getting the pins and stuff, she wasn't going ballistic at the referee. So there was no mega heelish enough between them. Becky got the win. I think the ending was Charlotte went for a spear, and I think Becky rolled it through into a pin, from what I can remember. It looked a little bit sloppy, only a little bit. But for me, the point they were trying to make was that Becky just plain and simply out-wrestled Charlotte tonight, and Becky was the better woman, and she's won the title. After the match, Becky was celebrating, and Charlotte went to shake her hand or raise her hand, one of the two, maybe both. And I think the commentators mentioned it, that Becky is seeing that as, oh, Charlotte is still trying to steal my spotlight, but I've won this match, and she's still trying to keep herself in the picture. So Becky told her to fuck off, basically, and that you're never going to take his title from me. Awesome match. Definitely the best of the two matches. Maybe it was I might be my favourite. It's definitely the best women's match I've seen in a very, 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 very long time. So fair play. I hope these two continue, and I look forward to. I'm getting a bit fed up with rematch clauses and shit. Seeing the same match over again, but these two, I can't wait to see this rematch. I hope they save it. And I hope they do the Evolution pay-per-view. It would definitely give me a reason to watch it, because of all the matches that have been announced so far, I'm not really interested in watching it. But if this is on the show, I will want to watch this match. I want to watch this show for that match. Also, there's a backstage segment and Big E can do the splits. I thought that was worth mentioning. That was pretty impressive. Dolphin Drew versus Seth and Ambrose. This was another wicked match. I don't know what else to say about this really, although it was a really good match. The ending was really clever. Dolphin Drew retained the titles. I was just on some fucking Lego. Fucking child. Dolph and Seth were the legal men. This is how the match ended. Seth was... What was he doing? I think Seth was doing his superplex into a Falcon Arrow, I think. But anyway, the point is that Seth was on the mat, he was doing a suplex to Dolph. I'm pretty sure it was from the superplex. And as Seth was hoisting Dolph up, Drew comes fucking bombing in, hits Seth with a claymore. Seth and Dolph both collapse. Dolph lands, collapses onto Seth in a pin. 1, 2, 3. And ends with Drew walking out with Dolph on his shoulders, carrying both the belts. Drew McIntyre looked like an absolute fucking beast, and I loved every second of it. The ending was fucking brilliant. It was clever. Ambrose, really enjoyed Ambrose. Not really much of a fan of Ambrose, but this match, really enjoyed him. sneak peek. I've already seen Raw. Drew and Dean have a match on Raw, also really good. So yeah, great, fucking great show so far. Zero complaints. It just continues. It gets better. AJ and Samoa Joe. What a fucking match again. Very hard hitting. Very hard hitting. Again, these two have pulled up. Not gonna lie, when these two started feuding and had the previous match, I thought it wasn't going to be better than anything they did in TNA, so I wasn't really bothered about it because I thought they've done all the best stuff back in TNA. I'm not too fussed about seeing them here, but oh my god, have they proved me wrong? It's not mind-blowingly better, but it is still fucking quality. The last match was brilliant. This match was again brilliant. It was so hard hitting. Some of the fucking, some of the kicks and the punches, and there was a shoulder barge. Or was it, I'm sure it was like a shoulder barge thing that Joe did to AJ, and it caused AJ to rotate in a way like I haven't seen anyone rotate before. Usually when they do that and they do the clothesline, it looks so much like the person receiving it is just doing a flip. But this, it looked like AJ had zero choice in the way and direction he flew because Joe hit him that fucking hard. It was a wicked match, and the ending for me was absolutely perfect because Joe was doing the coquina clutch to AJ. AJ leaned back and sort of rolled through into a pinning predicament, and from the TV angle, it was a 1, 2, 3. But the camera focused on Joe, and Joe was celebrating. And I was like, I watched it with DJ, and we were like, "What's he celebrating for?" And then as soon as the announcer says, "and still," Joe fucking loses it, and he's going fucking ballistic at the ref. He gets out of the ring, he's fucking going ballistic at the commentary team, and Corey Graves, bless him, he's like, "Yeah, Joe, I agree with you. You won. Yeah." And Joe was like, then he was like, I just want to disagree with him. He was screaming that he tapped out, but from our angle, we didn't see a fucking thing. As AJ's like celebrating, selling like a beast because he's absolutely beat to shit. He got a bloody mouth as well. Like twice he's wrestled Joe. AJ's had a bit of blood, bless him. I don't know if it wasn't intentional. It was just thinking like a caught him in the lip or something. But the replay shows it from the opposite angle, from the TV angle. AJ is very subtly tapping out to Joe while the ref has gone for the 2 count, and as the ref is coming down for the 3 count, AJ's tapping out. So if the ref had seen it, Joe would have won through the tap out, which I think is a great way to do it because it can continue this feud, but they can go in a bit of a different direction. They can they've added fuel to the fire, but a different kind of fuel. Because now because before it was about AJ and his family and Joe putting him to sleep and night and Wendy and all that shit, but now you can still do that. Plus, he can be mega pissed off that he's been screwed out of the WWE title. Or he's not screwed out, he's I suppose screwed out because it was a ref mistake though. But yeah, it just adds another layer to the feud between these two, so good job. Next we have then then the show takes a fucking drastic turn. After what has been 1, 2, 3, 4, that's about what has been 5 incredible matches, great matches, pure entertainment. Really happy we get the mixed tag match, which I always thought would be a bit weak, and it really was. If you needed to get a drink, get a beer, get something to eat, have a shit, have a piss, just stand outside in the garden for no reason, this would have been the time to do it. Because this was fucking dire. It ended the way that I thought it would, with Maurice getting the pin over Brie. But Maurice spent the whole match being a coward. I mean, which is part of the story, isn't it really? But from Brie, Miz and Brian carried most of his match, which I'd like to kind of talk about a little bit how Daniel Bryan's return has been really wasted recently. Well, since he's been back recently. Since he's been back, they've not been cranking out the Dream Machine matches like I thought they would. And there's been a couple here and there, but anyway, that's a different conversation for a different time. Maurice is fucking diabolical. Oh my god. There was a point on the match where Brie was smashing Maurice's face into the announce desk, but I know the way they're supposed to. I know the way to do it is obviously they have the hand there to protect them, but it was so. Even with Maurice having so long, usually when they've got a bit longer hair, shoulder length or longer, the way the hair's moving back and forth, it bridges the gap between where the hand is and where the face is. But still, Maurice, you could still see the gap between where the head is and the hands were, where she was bracing herself. It was laughable. The best thing about this match was Corey Graves. Corey Graves in this match was fucking on incredible form. It's good to see it's good to hear when the heel commentator is just blindly behind the heel team, and you can throw any kind of logic at him, and he'll have whether his response is logical or not, he will have an answer for you regardless of logical or illogical. It was so funny to listen to. So if you are going to have this on, you don't need to watch it. Just turn the volume up and just let Corey Graves make you laugh. Yeah. I said, didn't I? Yeah, Maurice got the pin over Brie. And there was a bit in it as well where it's not worth mentioning. It was shit. Don't watch it. Ronda vs Alexa. It was a better match than I thought it would be. I still don't particularly like Ronda. I still want to like her, but I don't know what it is about. There's just something about her I don't like. I can't verbalise it or vocalise it. I just don't like her. But I will give her props. It was a much better match than I thought it would be. Although I still think I kind of would have just preferred a squash, just an absolute beating of Alexa. I think would have preferred that. But still, it's made Alexa look strong. She's lasted in the ring with Ronda for a fair while. Yeah, it was fine. Roman Reigns and Braun Strowman. Editing! Welcome to the very first time I've edited a Jobber Club video that isn't putting the little introduction thing in. Because I was rambling way too much about the main event that I didn't even really enjoy. I feel like I could condense it a lot better. Basically, Braun and Roman had a brawl inside the ring. It was interfered by the Hounds of Justice and the Dogs of War, and it ended with all four of them on top of the cage. Drew and Dean take themselves out by a double clothesline on top of the cell. Seth and Dolph do a spot from the side of the cell onto the two announce tables. Both break them. Looks okay, probably not worth the jump. And as Braun and Roman are still in the ring, they've been in the ring for a stupid amount of time, just on the floor laid out. Brock Lesnar makes his appearance, beats the shit out of all of them, and then Brock Lesnar fucks off. When I say all of them, I mean Braun and Roman. And then the ref comes down to the ring and counts and fucking throws the match out. And Mick Foley gets taken out of some pepper spray. So yeah, that was the main event that I've condensed down, and I was rambling on about it because I was trying to remember what happened, and it was pretty shit, so I didn't think it was worth it, so I condensed it down a little bit for you. So that was Hell in a Cell. Hope you enjoyed it. The first 5 matches were fucking incredible, and the rest was dog shit. Goodbye!